Alright guys, you guys are gonna hate me for this video, but I just want to speak my truth. I want to speak my piece. After using the iPhone XS Max, the iPhone XS, and all these other iPhones for like ever now, I've realized that with this specific phone and this specific release, it matches a certain specific release that was made a couple years ago. And let me actually bring those phones out. And I just want to let you guys know for the record, when I make these type of videos, I have the idea in mind of what the purpose of it is, but I never write a script or anything like that. So this is completely unplanned. But with the iPhone 6 and 6 Plus, the reason this release specifically with the XS and XS Max and the 6 and 6 Plus releases so similar is because these phones were pretty much the exact same thing, except this one was just a bigger version of this, and it pretty much carried out the main difference was this camera had optical image stabilization, the 6 Plus, where this one did not. But that's really the only difference. So you're paying more for the same exact thing, just a bigger body, and keep that in mind, okay? Because that is pretty much what we're seeing here. Now that in and of itself is, perfectly fine, I assume, if people want to spend that much money. But in some cases, sometimes it's not the exact same phone you're getting, because on usage and on my usage specifically, I found that the iPhone 6 Plus was just a little bit slower than the iPhone 6, and that is a big problem just because you're spending more money for lower performance. But another big problem was that you weren't really getting anything from the iPhone 6 Plus that you weren't gaining from the iPhone 6. So in terms of all the features, everything you saw on the screen, it was pretty much the same. You didn't have split screen, you didn't have anything. So that really sucked on this phone because it was just a bigger version of this, which we already saw. But going one step further, actually, that is pretty much what we're seeing here. This iPhone XS is pretty much the same exact thing as the iPhone XS Max, but it's just bigger. And what's even crazier is that I ran a benchmark, okay? And this is not the most useful thing. It's not, you shouldn't use it per fact and support your argument with it, but it is something that is universal, and that's the only way. It's good to test something that's universal, because I could say, oh, this phone is slower, this phone is that, but I kind of want to go one step further, and this is just a universal measurement. And this is the score that I got on my XS Max. They're on running same exact firmware. They actually even have the same exact apps installed. And that's the score I got, 345,564. And I ran that same benchmark, same exact thing. Like I said, same exact apps are installed. It was cleared out. I pretty much used them equally. And this is the score that I got on this, 332,853. So that's kind of interesting. Now, the reason this score is down is because this phone is a bigger version of this. So the screen is bigger, has more pixels to push and all that stuff. But the thing you have to keep in mind is that this phone is more expensive, way more expensive than that. I think it's like $100, but when you're up in the $1,000 range for a phone, every $100 really does count. So this phone technically has lower performance than the iPhone XS, and you might say, oh, well, that's a given, this and that. But guys, it's so dumb, because we haven't seen an upgrade like this in 3 years since the 6S and 6S Plus, because those phones were equally the same too. But with the 7 and 7 Plus, when these phones were released, some people said, oh, the Plus is just a bigger version of this. But guys, that was actually not true at all. And these were about $100 difference in price too, 100 or 50. I think it's 100 though. But these phones were different, and not just in terms of the body, but in terms of the specs too. Not only did we have different camera setups, we had a dual camera setup. We also had portrait mode and all that stuff, only a single camera here, but we also had an extra gigabyte of RAM. So not only were you paying for the bigger size, but you were also paying for the extra gigabyte of RAM, the performance increases, and with my usage, the 7 is definitely slower than the 7 Plus because of that extra RAM and extra performance upgrades and stuff. And it was really nice having a dual camera, because it was just added a little bit more features to the phone, and it really made me feel like I was paying more for the specific phone release. And it was the same case with the iPhone 8 and 8 Plus. When this phone was released, it had an extra gigabyte of RAM that the iPhone 8 did not have. So you're still paying the $100 premium for not only a bigger phone, but you have the dual camera setup, you have portrait mode, you have extra gigabyte of RAM, and stuff like that. But in terms of these phones, they have the same exact specs, but you're paying more for what's already on the iPhone XS. And I just find that really dumb. They could have added, and I'm not saying don't get this phone or anything like that, and I'm not saying that this is a horrible phone. I'm actually kind of sad that they didn't do more with this phone. I wish they added more stuff with this specific phone. I wish they did more split screen view. I wish they did something that differentiated this phone than that phone. I just don't think, us going into the camera and putting it in a landscape is good enough. They said there's some more features and stuff like that, but what if we want more than that? Android, I hate comparing Android and iOS, but they're way ahead. They have split screen. They utilize the bigger phones. Look Look at Samsung with the Galaxy Notes. They utilize that bigger screen. They make it so there's a reason to get it. You have the S Pen, you have all these different things, and it's way different than just their regular Galaxy S series, and it's way more powerful and everything. And I want to be able to consider the iPhone XS Max like the Galaxy Note 9, but I can't do that. I feel like this is like a Galaxy S9, and this is just like a bigger version of a Galaxy S9. So are we comparing both to the Galaxy Note 9, or only comparing one to the Galaxy Note 9 and the other one to Galaxy S9? And I just find that so dumb. I wish Apple will go out and put more into a phone. We're spending this much money for a phone. I don't care if it's only $100 more than this or that. I just think they're just not doing much with it. And like I said, it's the same exact thing with the 6 and 6 Plus. That upgrade there, it just wasn't really an upgrade. It was just a bigger size. And if you're going this big anyway, I mean, size doesn't really matter because the XS is already huge. This is just a bigger version. But what I hope to see in the future is Apple really pushing an initiative to utilize the bigger screen. We had 4 years of Plus version of phones, or 3 or 4 or whatever, and we did not see any like improvements. We did not see anything that the Plus versions could do that the regular versions couldn't in terms of software. We knew portrait mode, we don't all that stuff, but I just really hope Apple takes the initiative and push something that the iPhone XS Max can do that the iPhone XS cannot do, and that in and of itself will make people get this specific phone. And that is pretty much where I'm going to leave it at. I could go rant literally all day about this, but it's just super annoying to me, and I really wish Apple didn't do this. I wish they added more. That is my opinion, guys. I'm not always right, but that is just what I think. If you guys have any questions, or you agree with me or disagree with me, leave it down in the comment section below. I'd love to hear your opinion about this. Also, check out the links in the description as well. My Twitter, my Instagram, all that stuff is down there. I would really appreciate if you guys could go and check it out. But more importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out, till then.